Hi everyone, welcome back. This is Dino Budgets and the video is finally here. It is time to confess some debt. So if you guys are interested in seeing what my debt amounts are and what my payoff plan is, go ahead and stick around. All right, so before we see any numbers, guys, let's see what T-Rex is trying today. Remember that no matter what type of day you're having, at least you're not a T-Rex. Trying to stow his bag in the overhead compartment. Oh, I felt this one was appropriate, especially since we are going to be coming home from our vacation at the time you guys are seeing this. So that hopefully means that one of the next couple of videos you see will be my recap of the vacation along with the budget to see how we did and if we, stuck to it or blew it. So we'll see. But if that is something you are interested in seeing, please make sure you hit the subscribe button with the notification bell so that you don't miss when that video uploads. All right, guys, so I had kind of been holding off on doing this just because I really didn't feel I had too much to talk about in this category, but since we have added to this, I felt it was time to finally have the chat on debt. So we have, at this current time, 3 debts: a mortgage, the new car we just purchased, and I do have a loan from my retirement account, which I will talk about in more detail once I get to it. So let's start right off with the biggest one that we have. So our mortgage, what we have remaining on it, when I do my debt updates in the coming future, I will probably have my starting amounts and then current amounts. But for today, we're just going to go off of current amounts. So the current amount that we owe on our mortgage is $142,000, $721.66. So not too bad, pretty average for, the housing market in my part of Iowa. So I'm not, too upset about that. Also, another thing that I am, kind of happy about with this mortgage is that a few years ago we were actually able to refinance into a 15-year. So I do only have a 15-year mortgage on this. Our monthly payment is $1,436.48. I do usually round up to $1,500 and allow that additional $62, $63 to go towards the principal. So I am making just a little bit of extra every single month. And then the new car, so this is going to be the newest debt that we have. This is the car that we just purchased. If you did miss that video where I showed you what we got and how much of a down payment we did, I will link that up here for you. But this one will actually be the full amount since this is a new loan and we have not made any payments yet. So what we owe on the car is $30,926.70, and our current payment is $409 and a penny a month. That stinking penny. Like, ugh, I wish I could just, they could have messed with the numbers just enough to get the penny to go away, but that's okay. I will walk into the bank and hand them that penny every time when I go to make my payment. So the ultimate goal would be to pay this off in 2 years, but our loan amount is for, I believe, 7. I think that's what it is. So 2 years would be the goal, and 7-year is the actual loan amount. All right, so to our smallest debt, this is from a retirement account. When we purchased our home, we had enough vested in our retirement account that we could take out a loan from ourselves in order to help with the down payment. And so then payments come out through my husband's paycheck as automatic repayment to this. So what we have remaining on this one is $6,516.67. So we do make payments of $54.49 2 times a month. And that just automatically comes out of my husband's paycheck and goes right back to this account. Usually I would not recommend taking loans out from your retirement account unless absolutely necessary, because you are going to pay tax penalties and, you know, interest on top of it. The only reason we went ahead and did this one was because all of the interest is getting paid right back to ourselves. So, you know, this is the way they offered it is a 10-year loan. And so we still have a little ways to go. This will not be done until June of 2028. So we've only been in our house about 4 years. And so we do have 6 years to go on this. But, you know, the interest being charged on it, there's going to be, you know, at the end of this, if I don't pay it off early, there's going to be a little over $3,000, maybe $3,500 in interest that is on top of the loan amount that we're repaying. So even though that's extra money, it's extra money that I'm paying back to myself into my retirement account, that once it's in there, it can grow interest. So I'm not really, you know, in a rush for this one or seeing it as a completely bad option, just because it helped us out when we needed it at the time. So here's the grand total. Between these three, we have $180,165.03, which seems like a lot. But when I look at the numbers and I see that between these three, majority, if not, like, I haven't done the numbers, so I'm kind of trying to pull this out of my head real quick. But if we have, you know, 90, 45, 130, so almost 75, 80% of it, roughly, is our mortgage. And so since that is a loan that is, you know, growing in value, or the home hopefully is growing in value, not the loan itself, but, you know, since that's the majority of it, I'm okay with that, you know. Like, I'd rather have this be zero, but at the same time, I, you know, don't have any student debts. My husband was, you know, lucky to have been military, so that all of his schooling came out of his GI Bill when he got home. So we don't have any school debt for him. All of my current school is being covered under scholarships right now, and it will be until I am done with school, because I have had those scholarships be extended to me personally from the foundations through the entirety of my schooling. So I do not have any for myself. And then we don't have any, you know, crazy credit card debt, you know, lurking around that we need to pay off. That is something we struggled with for a long, long time and went up and down with, and we, you know, it'd get out of control and we'd have thousands and thousands of dollars and we'd have to pay those off, and then we'd get them back down and then it would go back up again. And it has been a yo-yo effect with credit cards. And that's why I always say that, you know, not to use credit cards unless you have a quote unquote healthy relationship with them. You know, we have worked very, very hard to find what works for us in order to still use our credit card so that we can, you know, benefit off of the rewards points. But we, you know, are definitely very careful to not have 10, 15 credit cards and be using them all the time. You know, we only have a very small few, and really only one that is like our, you know, main card. So that has helped us to kind of focus in and help on that. So honestly, I don't think it's too bad, the amount. It definitely is a daunting amount, and it will be so exciting to watch it go down. And so that leads me into what is going to be the order that we do pay off for these and kind of our plan for them. So my very first thing that I want to pay off first is the car. I want that to be my number one thing to pay off. It is, you know, the more consumer type thing that is losing value and not gaining value. So that one I want to tackle first. And I am going to be trying to make extra payments or extra towards the principal each month. So we're going to do additional principal monthly. And that will not be like a huge amount, but it'll be something that'll help the payments start to come down. And then we also have a savings challenge that we are working on. And with this one, I am making it a goal to save up $5,000 at a time. And then we will do lump sum payments towards the car once we hit the $5,000. So between the additional payments and then finishing this savings challenge probably 4 or 5 times, we will hopefully pay off the car early. That is our goal. And then we can move on to our next debt, which in between these two, we are still cash flowing and trying to set aside money for some house improvements. There are some projects that need to be done to the house. It is, you know, a little over 40 years old, and I think, you know, very, very minimal has been done to it with the previous owners. So a lot of the things are original, and so we are slowly starting to swap things out. We've, you know, replaced a few appliances. We're working on a bathroom right now that was having issues. So we're just trying to cash flow those along with doing these others. So that's probably why we're not paying off things as fast as we'd like to be. But at the same time, we're not going into more debt for house stuff. That's kind of a main thing I really don't want to do, is go into debt for house improvements. So goal number 2 for payoff will be the mortgage. And this will be done again just by additional principal monthly. So we'll just mark that same as above. And then we will attack, you know, either savings goals or other additional money to put to it once we get to that one. And so this one actually only has, let's see, I have had the 15-year loan for 3 years now. So we actually have 12 years left on it as of today. So hopefully we can pay that off, you know, before that time. But even then, in 12 years, if we still have to take the full 12 years, we'll have a fully paid for house, where most people who take out a 30-year mortgage are only going to be halfway through paying their mortgage and still paying interest on it. So I think we're still in a good position for that one. And of course, that leaves the retirement loan to be paid off last. And like we said up here, we have about 6 years left on this one. And right now, you know, unless I were to get the house paid off, unless, you know, the car and the mortgage paid off in under 6 years, you know, then I will start throwing extra money at this. But honestly, I think this one is just going to pay itself off in the time that I pay off these two. Again, this is something that, you know, the interest is going back to myself and not to like a bank or somebody else. So I'm not too worried about losing out on the interest or having to pay the interest on this loan. And it's already in our budget because it's coming out of the paycheck. So I don't even like see it. I don't even have to think about it. It just gets paid. So the only way I would pay this off sooner above these is if for some reason we all of a sudden got a lump sum amount of money, you know, from winning the lottery. Who knows? Yeah, you know, a larger bonus than we're expecting, anything like that, I would maybe consider throwing extra towards this. But because I'm doing, you know, actual interest being paid to somebody else on these two, I'm definitely going to focus, you know, put my focus on these. So that is it, guys. I look forward to, you know, tracking this with you and showing you updates, you know, maybe quarterly or twice a year, just kind of depending on how our journey goes. And I hope, to hopefully have some, good updates that stuff's being paid off and progress being made. But I hope this, gives you a little bit of insight and some, push to work on your debt as well, and hopefully some goals that maybe you could set to work on yours. And if you guys have any comments or questions, please leave them down below. I'd love to chat with you. And until I see you guys next time when I'm back from vacation, have a great day. Bye.